All right, folks, we are in the truck again. And just seems like a good place to do a video today. It's cool out, not too bad though. It's somewhat cool out, but anyway, did a video earlier today in the truck, and I did that video on the amber jelly roll. And so right now we're going to do a video on lichen. And I want to talk about how edible it is. Now, the Usnea here is very medicinal. Now, all lichen is medicinal, but this is a excellent. Let's pick up this piece here. Sorry, this is a excellent antibiotics. This is nature's antibiotics, and it is antiviral, fungal, bacterial. It is a excellent antibiotic, and you can take it. You get a cut out in the wilderness, you can take it and kind of rub it up just a little bit, turn it into a powder if you want to, or put it directly just like it is on a wound, and it will actually help the wound, and it'll suck up stuff, suck up blood or whatever the case may be. And be a medicine as well for your wound. Now, it is said, don't know how true it is, but it's said that back in the Civil War they ran out of gauze, and they used this, and it ended up being way better than using gauze just because it's medicinal. Anyway, so it's excellent for wounds, and that is for sure. Hey, in good times or bad, in a survival situation or just out there in the yard and you cut yourself, it is an excellent thing to have. Nature's antibiotics. It's also good for all sorts of other things. Remember, it's nature's antibiotics. And but like all other lichens, it is edible, and that's mainly what I'm going to talk about here, is the edibility of lichens and how wonderful they are. Now, there are only two lichens amongst all of the lichen out there. There are only two that are poisonous, and they are yellow. And so if you stay away from yellow lichen, you're going to be perfectly fine. And so this is all lichen here and here. Now, this grows on rocks. They all grow on rock, but we've got some granite over by the reservoir, and man, it is all over that granite. It is lichen city over there. Moss just covered in it. And it's all food, and folks don't realize that. Now, it is not food that you would want to eat every day, but it is excellent survival and famine food. And I hate talking about that sort of thing because folks think I'm nuts. But folks, it needs to be talked about. This has kept people alive, not only medicinally, but to fill their stomach. Now, this stuff has carbohydrates in it, and in a famine, in a survival situation, which a famine is a survival situation, you're going to want all the carbohydrates you can get. And so here they are, folks. But it is a process to eat this stuff. Now this medicinally, this Usnea, you can make there's people that just pop it in their mouth, chew on it, suck on it, and get the goodness out, and then swallow it, But that's one way to do it, and you don't want to do too much. There's an acid in all lichen that will give you a bad stomach ache, folks. And so you don't want to just go eating handfuls of it. You want to be careful. But and unless you process it. Now, you can eat all you want if you process it. We'll talk about processing in a minute. Okay, so but let's go back a couple of steps and talk medicinally. You can make a tincture out of this, and or you can make a tea. You don't want to cram a bunch of this into a cup, just a little bit into a cup to make a tea out of it. Tincture, and Grind it up into powder and save it for whenever to put directly on wounds. But or let's say we're going to use it. It's famine. It's a survival situation. Well, what you're going to want to do if you're in an area that has a lot of lichen, then you're going to want to harvest the lichen, even if you're not hungry. You see, you're going to be there for a couple of days. Harvest the lichen and get it processing because it takes a couple of days to process it. And so you get the lichen, this, get the lichen, harvest it, scrape it off of whatever you need to scrape it off of, pull it. This is actually a single stem, believe it or not, and it has a white core. When you pull that stem, you'll see a little white inner core. And I don't have two hands, so we won't do that now. But anyway, so you gather up your lichen, and then you boil it for 30 minutes. And then you have to actually boil it for 30 minutes, pour the water off. So you've got fresh water. Let it sit for 2 days. Now, during that 2 days, you need to be changing the water probably every couple of hours or so. I mean, if you're around, you change the water every couple of hours or so for 2 days, kind of working it in the water a little bit. You don't have to boil the water. You just let it soak. And then you do that for 2 days. And then at the end of the 2 days, about 48 hours or so, you boil it again for about 30 more minutes, pouring off the water, and then taste testing. And then if it's bland, doesn't taste like anything, doesn't have that zingy, acidy feel to it, and if it does not taste like aspirin, this stuff kind of has a little aspirin-y taste to it. And if that is gone, the acidity, you can taste acid in your mouth, little zingy kind of thing in your mouth, or the aspirin-y taste. If that is gone, that is no longer there, then you're good to go. You have rendered the lichen edible. And think of all the lichen that is out there and all those carbohydrates. All the lichen out there, all the carbohydrates that you would need in a survival, in a famine, in a bad, bad situation. Now, this is nothing you even want to mess with. You shouldn't mess with it. It takes a long time for lichen to form and grow. And so you don't need to even go mess with it. These fell to the ground, and that is the ones I would go for. But don't mess with it. Don't eat it if you don't need to. It is strictly a survival food, a famine food, and that is lichen. And remember, folks, I am not an expert. You need to consult with an expert before you go putting anything in your mouth. Study this stuff out. Study lichen out, because let me tell you something. There's a lot of food out there, folks, and if you know what it is, you know what to eat and what not to eat. It's important to know what not to eat, as well as it is important to know what to eat. And so if you know what not to eat and what to eat, you're going to be in okay shape. Hey, there's nothing wrong with having the knowledge of wild edibles and wild medicinals. Nothing wrong with it. Remember, this is nature's antibiotics. All lichens are edible, except for 2. And those 2 are yellow. So if you just stay completely away from any yellow lichen, you're going to be okay. The green, sometimes it's bluish green, but just make sure it's not yellow. All right, folks, hey, go out there and get you some if you're hungry. Anyway, we'll see you.